into the PHNX Cardinals podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Today on Thanksgiving, you can be thankful for free bets. New customers can bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. Just remember to use the code PHNX when you sign up. Cheers and Susel here with Frank Sanders, Johnny Venerable. Guys, if you haven't eaten already, I hope you eat tons of food today. We have talked at length about all things Thanksgiving already, and it falls on a great week for the Cardinals, great week for us because it's the bye week.
Yes.
So I was thinking, Frank, you're the only, people might be shocked to hear this, but you're actually the only member of our crew here that previously played in the National Football League.
I did not play pro football, no. I'm 5'6".
Are you really? Did we have this conversation?
I have these huge
I say I'm
boots on.
5'6", but I probably am more like 5'5".
They look fly, though.
These
I like
give
them.
me about 1.5 inches, thank God. I am bordering on 5'7". My wife reminds me many times over I'm not 5'7", though. So even when you're 5'6" and like 3/4 or whatever, you're still 5'6" at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Poor Johnny. So anyway, Frank, you got any good bye week stories for us?
Look, typically during the bye week is a hit or miss situation based upon what are the NFL scheduling and how they decide what will work best for TV money and TV revenues. Well, thank God that the Cardinals are 9-2, but my bye week story goes like this here. So what happens is typically, you would say we're going away. We got like a week and a half. So you're coming and do like a little minimal practice for a couple of days. And after that, the coach gives you some time to get away, about 4 or 5 days. Well, there was 2 years back to back, my bye week was a getaway to kind of get some.
Okay.
I was married, had a lot of good time.
I don't understand. Please elaborate.
Well,
Johnny gets it. You don't need to elaborate. Johnny gets it.
So, yes, Johnny gets it. So the bye week is to get away to get some. So that's kind of what happened. And my bye week story ended up with these two beautiful individuals. And Aaron, you have the photo of those two girls up there? Do by chance? My two little ladies. So there's Anaya and Elena.
Beautiful.
Anaya Simone and Elena Savoy. Anaya's the one in the blue. These are my two favorite pictures of my girls. But here's the thing. One's September. One's birthday is in, Anaya's birthday is in May. Elena's birthday is in June. So
they're bye week babies.
They're bye week babies, yes. And that was primarily probably the only time I was probably getting some.
It's weird when you
So
say
on the
how
bye
you phrase
week-
it like that.
I hate to say it like that.
Because it's the opposite with me when
Those are
I'm
my babies.
when I'm trying to get some. My wife tells me to get away, so it's reversed with
But
me.
if you get away, you'll get some. That's kind of what the bye week's supposed to be about. If
I
you
need
get
to do
away,
that.
you'll
like
get some.
on vacation?
Yeah, on vacation.
Oh.
Yeah, we were on vacation, and it just happened to be that in a September, which comes out about May, and then in October comes out about a June. So Anaya was in May, and Elena was in June. They're back-to-back years. Once 2002, 2003, and that's what the bye week sometimes is all about. That was my two lovely moments about the bye. We have a lot. I do have a lot of good stories about my bye week and getting away. But when you live in Arizona, it's kind of hard sometimes. So.
Why?
Well, because you live in a Mecca. It's like to get away, you're leaving this great place. So I will leave here and probably go to Flagstaff or go to Sedona.
What about like a staycation? Just like they've got a million resorts around here.
They do. That's what I'm saying. So when you're leaving Arizona, you're leaving a resort destination anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird. And I want to maximize my window of time, which I did. As you can see, I got two girls. And that's kind of how it worked out. So some guys a little bit when they're single, they'll take more adventurous and elaborate trips, but I just
So you would say
one of
that
the
your
staycations.
conversion rate on the buy was 100%.
100%. 100%.
Back-to-back years?
Back-to-back years.
Wow.
Back
Those
to
are career
back.
years, if you ask me.
Johnny, all you have to do is take Kelsey on a trip, apparently.
That doesn't work. She's like, oh, which girlfriend can I bring? Can I bring my sister?
Oh, my goodness.
Are you going to watch the kids?
Well, if you ever need a weekend away, I will gladly watch Hudson and Frankie for you.
You don't
so.
want that. Please, God. They may make an appearance in a couple weeks. We're all praying that doesn't have to happen, but I appreciate the offer.
Frank, you got like one more interesting story for us?
Well,
so for instance, Cliff Kingsbury's 0-2 off a bye, and he plays the Chicago Bears in a week, right?
mm-hmm.
We're hoping that doesn't turn into 0-3. Did you feel like when you got off the bye, you got right? Do you remember like your win percentage?
You have any superstitions?
Yeah.
No, I have none. I intentionally try not to practice superstitions, and I want to practice the mindset that I worked my butt off. I trained my butt off to be ready for this moment, and not to be hindered in my mind that I didn't put my sock on right, or I didn't have my favorite eggs or bacon. I just didn't want that to ever be a part of my process. So I don't have any superstitions in that.
No McGriddles.
No. I got to eat this in the morning. I would intentionally do things different, because I feel if I had trained and worked my butt off and studied and got myself ready for the week, then I don't want to put on a chance that the equipment manager, Mark or Stein, didn't put my pads on right, or they didn't do my shirts when I came in, or I didn't have the socks, laid out perfectly. Some guys literally lay their whole uniform out like a body, and you can literally do a chalk line around them, and they'd be like, yeah, this is what I'm wearing.
Things are so unpredictable. You never know when something could be just off a little bit. Somebody forgets something like for whatever reason. I could never be so dependent on everything being the same way for me to be like mentally all there.
Right.
And have all the confidence because, everything's through how it should be. I couldn't live my life like that.
I understand the dudes that are OCD like that, but that's just not me. I really, because of those things like that, I feel like, man, I did all this training. I got myself together, and then I didn't have the right gloves, or I didn't get the red gloves, or he gave me a medium instead of a large. And I'm like, bro, like I want to drop every ball. Now I'll say
Didn't
this.
that happen to DeAndre Hopkins last year? And he threw the gloves off. They were too small.
Them. Yeah. Switched them out.
Yeah.
Mid-game.
Some guys have that. I don't, and I try not to have that. But there are so many great just before the bye week stories that things we would do, the tricks we would play on each other. So if you were a rookie or something like that was going into bye week and guys wanted to get you, they put like a little white powder substance in the base or in the tip of the toe of your shoe, and then when you go out to practice and start sweating, your toes would turn blue. It'd be like a blue dye, but it looks like white powder.
That's great.
Blue dye that's white powder.
So it's a white powder, but you know how if you're gonna dye your hair, like you just put a little powder
on
it.
And you'd sweat.
And then you sweat. Yeah. Once you start sweating, so the guys would go on vacations with blue toes and blue fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a trick we would do on guys who just thought like, well, we're going to get this guy because we know he's going to the beach.
But that was just rookies or that was anybody?
No, it was anybody. It's fair game. Just depending on who the vet was and what they want to do to you. I mean, we'd come in our locker rooms and on a bye week, guys were joking. We'd come into the locker room after practice, and then you hear the showers running. And then all the bins that require dirty towels or jocks or whatever we throw in the bins, they would be in the shower, and all the guys that were rookies, all their clothes, watches, their entire locker room would be emptied into those bins, and they'd be all in the showers, and the water's running. And so just stuff.
That's not funny. That's a lot of that. You could ruin somebody's like.
Well, we don't worry about the ruin part.
$30,000 watch.
You got enough money for that. That's what we talk about. See, we don't worry about that $30,000 watch.
That's a lot of money.
We don't worry. They make a lot of money.
Kirsten, that's how we live, man.
That's how we roll, baby. That's how we roll.
That's what we do.
NFL does that. So when you come in here and you find your laptop in the sink in there, you'd be like, "What happened?" Like that's how we roll.
No one better put my Converse anywhere near the sink.
His Converse is definitely going in the sink. We know that for a fact. That's what we do.
Which ones? I feel like he has like 5.
I have 2 pairs.
The red ones,
and black.
1,000. The red ones, 1 thou wow. 1 thou wow. The red ones are going.
1 thou wow?
Yeah, 1 thou wow. That 1 thou wow is like 100 times 100%. That is definitely happening. Your red one, your Converse.
Frank, when we have our combine, before the combine, I'm going to D you up so bad in my red Converse out in the street, in the parking lot. You're going to be asking for it.
Hey, look, so what we decided last night while you were gone, me and Aaron, we decided to go, we're going to have a throwing and a pass competition one day, and we're going to do it on the top level of the parking deck right outside, because we can't, that'll give us the most room and the most opportunity so that you won't be hindered by, the ceiling.
I thought we were went with a bunch of kids.
We'll get to that moment.
I can't
but
wait
we
to
have to have a
stiff
grown
arm
up
a
moment.
10-year-old that day.
It's the only way I'm going to
Well,
have
you
any
gonna
sort of a
stiff up.
chance.
It'd be
I, by
problems.
the way, have the worst
Love it.
hops of anybody I've ever seen in my life. I can get off the ground like a half inch.
Really?
Do you remember your vertical, Frank? On that note,
I was 39.
Jerson, what's yours? What's your vertical?
A
You
half
think?
inch.
That's not true. That's not.
I
She says she
am
has no
telling you,
hops.
I can't jump for some reason. I can't physically jump.
Did you play high school athletics?
No, I'm an athletic person. Don't get me wrong.
What sports
but
again?
One thing I can't do is jump. Well, softball was like my main sport.
Okay, so there's no jumping in softball.
Yeah. I did run track and cross country.
Okay.
And
But no volleyball.
played basketball.
No. Okay,
No volleyball.
gotcha. Because there's jumping in volleyball. Yeah.
I made the cheer squad in 5th grade just to say I made it, and then I quit once the actual season started.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's it.
Goals. Put that on the banner.
We
I
need
made
to
it.
get
We're good.
the
That's
thing
it.
from the
It's
combine.
literally what my mom was like, because I was a huge tomboy growing up, like a huge tomboy. And like somebody made a comment that like, you're not girly enough to be a cheerleader. And I was like, you know what?
Bitch, I'll show
Yeah.
you.
And I told my mom I was going to try out for cheerleading, and she was like, that's not you. And I'm like, you know what? So I made the cheer squad. It was very competitive. I went to like this private school. It was like the thing,
Yeah.
thing for girls to
Mhm.
do. And I made the cheer squad. I, went out with like 2 middle fingers up and said, I'm not, I could be you if I wanted to, but I don't. So, yeah.
I do my own thing. My
Mm.
wife's like that with my daughter, where my wife, like, she won't say this publicly, but like desperately doesn't want her to do like cheerleading or dance or poms or that kind of thing. She wants her to do like typical sports. And my daughter is really into like sequin stuff and like girly girl stuff, right? And we're very like, you want to be like muted colors, whatever you want. And so it slowly is killing my wife that like all in on the pink and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, but that's fun. I wasn't that baby for my parents.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to dress in boy clothes and like rip the bows off, and was like, well, what's fun is when you can like dress them up.
Yeah.
And like,
well, it's like having the opposite effect, because like we're that way where I'm like, my be who you want to be, right? But there are some parents like my sister's family where they're like their oldest daughter, it's like you're a lady now and you can't do this and this, and so we've done the opposite effect, and it's backfired on my wife.
my dad I used to train with my dad, and he had me at like 10 years old doing like I guess it would be decline push-ups off the stairs,
Mhm.
and then would like run to the clubhouse gym, and he had me like bench pressing at like a super young age and stuff like
Nice.
that, because my parents didn't have a boy, I guess, until I would have been like in middle school. And so or maybe I was like 10, but then, like a baby, what do you do with a baby? So by the time I was in middle school, high school, by the time one of my brothers was old enough to really, do much. And so like I was always my dad's boy. Went to the football games, played soft, played all the sports. He made me train. I remember during winter, he was like, if you could catch a football, you could catch a softball. And so winter was cold, and he was just like, he would have me run like routes outside the house and catch a football, because that was like his idea of things. But my hands were cold. I'm a big baby in the cold, and so like my hands are cold. I don't want to catch a football. My hands hurt. But yeah, that was my childhood.
Nice.
I don't know how we got to that conversation, but
That's good stuff.
Absolutely great stuff. That's how I got my 2 kids. My girls, I didn't do the football stuff with them. They didn't want no part of that stuff. They didn't.
Were they cheerleaders?
Bi-week babies.
No, not even cheerleaders at all. Didn't never push them toward that. So I was so like, I'm dad and not Frank Sanders, that I took my girls to school one time, and I took them to school. We were in Alabama, and then I'm walking down the hall with my daughters and I end up meeting the principal. He's like, yeah, some Frank Sanders. My daughters were wow. And then said, okay, so I'm gonna take my kids to school. He said, well, hey, Mr. Sanders, we get a moment. Can you come back and say something to my kids and my 8th graders? I was like, sure, that's cool. I'll do that. So I take the girls to take them there to their class. I put them in, and then I go back. I speak to the kids, and then I leave, and then I go home. No big deal. Nothing. My daughters come in with a sheet of paper, and both of them they're like little itty bitties. They're like 4 and 5.
Into the 8th grade class that you were talking about?
Yeah, but they're 4 and 5. They were baby. They were like elementary. They were like the little kids, and the teacher asked me to go speak to the middle school kids.
Right.
So I drop them off, but my girls come home from school. They go pick them up. Trace picks them up, and then she brings them in. The girls come in with sheets of paper. Both of them got 2 sheets of paper in their hand, and they say, "Dad, the kids at school said you're famous. Can I get your autograph?"
That's great.
And I was like,
"Oh,
it's always great to be.
Sure, you can."
Oh,
like,
they wanted your autograph?
They wanted my autograph. But they didn't know. They didn't know I was Mr. Auburn or
that is
the
the
guy.
cutest story I've ever heard.
They
I
wanted my
thought
autograph.
like the kids gave them these pieces of paper that they wanted you to sign for them.
They
so
came
your
in-
girls wanted your
Yeah,
autograph.
they waited all day. Waited in school with 2 sheets of paper. They waited in school to individual papers, and they came home with those papers. And they walked in like, "Hey, Dad, the kids in school say you're famous." And I was like,
Aww.
because I was just dad. I was never, I'm not a memorabilia guy, so I don't have a bunch of pictures and photos and
Yeah.
plaques and helmets and all that stuff around the house. I like my house in my house. Work is work. Home is home. I live like that. So they never saw that. And so they saw me work. They saw me play football, but they never saw, me doing a whole bunch of the Frank Sanders stuff. So, and so they came and
that's
asked
a
for that.
cute
Great
story.
That was a good moment for me in my life right there. So I'm thankful for that. So bye-week stories happen. There's probably going to be some babies this week.
In May or June?
Well, or they'll be June and July, August, June,
What's
July
9
and
months?
August.
I don't know.
Right
I can't
now.
do math.
Right now, so the guys they're having November. Somebody shows up in December with a little egg, so they'll figure
December,
out
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
before the season starts.
If anybody misses a game,
You're gonna miss training
across
camp.
next season, we're gonna know what went down and when it went down.
It's the bye week, brother.
Kyler,
Good
get it
time.
together.
I'm going to
Plan
laugh in
accordingly.
August if we end up referencing this show.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
promise you. You were like,
Run it back.
what's his name having a baby? He can't make it to training camp right now
Yeah.
because wife's having a baby
Yep.
or his
Okay.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Mental note noted. All right. Well, you still have time to download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code PHNX and take advantage of a Turkey Day no-brainer that you can't miss. New customers can bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game and win $100 in free bets. So that is today only. Download the app. Take advantage of this. But all customers, regardless of whether you've used the app or not, can also get a risk-free bet up to $25 if your same-game parlay does not win. So if you put together a same-game parlay that hits, you're going to obviously win some money. If it doesn't, you're going to get your money back up to $25, and that is for all customers, but only today. So make sure you have the app downloaded if you haven't already. Again, use that code PHNX to sign up. We'd greatly appreciate that. But as always, it's 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. All right, guys, let's play a little game here. One has to go. We're all familiar with that, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
You have like a list of things. One has to go. Steve Keim, Cliff Kingsbury, Vance Joseph, or Kyler Murray.
This is an easy one for me.
Really?
Yep. So Vance Joseph, I love you, my man. He gone. You cannot break up Cliff and Kyler at this point.
No.
And then I would
Did
maybe
I make it too easy?
you did. I would
Shoot.
maybe have knocked off Steve had he not just had the offseason he just had. But again, when Steve Keim's good, he's very good. Vance to me it feels almost like a luxury at this point because of how great the defense has played this season. I'm 50-50 in whether or not he'll even be back after this year. If he gets a head job, if he takes what's offered to him, if he gets like a Chicago, for instance, supposedly moving on from Matt Nagy. But I mean, we're going to see, this should tell you everything. We're going to see 3 extensions in the offseason, and the 4th will be up in the air. It'll be Vance Joseph, but Cliff, Kyler, and Keim are the 3 Ks. Don't do that. But the 3 individuals I just mentioned are all gonna get extended. Dear God, that didn't work out well.
Jeez. If you you wouldn't have brought it up, nobody would have even thought of twice about it.
I just went through that in my head. That went so
Oh, my
poorly.
God.
I'm so sorry.
Please excuse us for Johnny's behavior.
Steve, Cliff, the S and the 2 Ks.
No, that's too funny, man. That's hilarious. Good one.
Yeah, push your mic away for a second. Put yourself in timeout. My gosh.
Edit that out.
Mute him. Thank you,
No, man,
Aaron.
that was a good catch. Great catch. catch.
Johnny, what about you? Steve Keim, Cliff Kingsbury, Vance Joseph, Kyler Murray. One has to go.
Jeez. One has to go.
One has to go. You can't keep them all.
Defense wins championships, as they keep trying to tell me. And I keep figuring out that if you got a superstar athlete and that can do a lot of stuff, then you don't really need a brain of a head coach to make it work. So I'm going to play an advocate in this window of time, and I'm going to say I don't mind if Cliff is out of here. I don't. Cliff's out of here. You're out of here, Cliff.
Oh, God, not this
I'll keep the
again.
tattoo.
What about your tattoo?
I'll keep the tattoo for
Keep
this
the
year.
tattoo. Take
I'll
the
keep
coach.
the tattoo 1 year in. Look, I want a championship. The purpose of that is you did some great things. We thank you for all that. But if you have to go, I can always rebuild. But if I'm going to rebuild, I can rebuild with a defensive-minded coach and J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones. I can build from that foundation. I got Kyler. He learned the system, but I'm pretty sure there's an up-and-coming young gun we're training right now. We got some good coaches also on that staff we can potentially replace with. And, yeah. Cliff, right now, thank you for getting us here, but
Damn.
there's a college bus waiting for you somewhere.
Cutthroat.
What? Who is this person?
It's late in the evening.
No,
It's not.
no. You
It's
said
early.
one has to go. So
This is not my show.
Johnny ate too much
I
turkey
did.
today, and he's delirious.
I've had too much tryptophan.
He has no idea what time of day it is, what day it is.
Why am I wearing the same clothes from yesterday? I'm so sorry.
you went hard in the paint, bro. That's what
I
happened.
did. I'm struggling from Friendsgiving. I had a babysitter for the first time in a while. My wife and I. It was an enjoyable time. But
The older you get, the more it doesn't just take you like one day; it takes you a couple days to recover.
I'm not there yet. Clearly, I need a. Where's Derek? Can we get Derek in here?
All right.
How about you?
I'm like really anxious right now because I am going back and forth in my mind. I'm not sure which one to pick. I would say it's between Vance Joseph and Kyler Murray. But you mentioned it, defense wins championships. I am really high on Vance Joseph as the Cardinals defensive coordinator. I think he is an integral part. Well, that's why the list exists. They're all integral parts of the Cardinals' success this year. Crud muffin.
Yes. Crud muffin
I
has
know
a
who you
beard.
want. I know who you want to
Yes.
say. Can we talk about that for a second? I know who you want to say.
Who?
I think would you move on from Kyler Murray? If there
Yeah,
was
it's
an option?
between Kyler or Vance.
Yeah. Let's
You
say
would
Kyler.
move on
Let's
away
give
from
an
Kyler?
Let's give an
Yeah.
argument.
Really? You don't think he does enough
She
offensively?
just watched her head coach win 2 out of 3 with Colt McCoy.
Yeah, but what about the other 7? I wait.
I know. No. I'm not saying okay. I'm not saying get rid of Kyler and Colt's your starting quarterback. But I think if you had, another top 5 quarterback in the league in with Steve Keim, Cliff Kingsbury, Vance Joseph, and all the other pieces, I don't feel like if you take Kyler, and again, I'm not saying we're making up this entire conversation.
I appreciate you having this just for an exercise. So go ahead, because I think it's interesting.
Yeah, dude, it
yeah.
is good.
Yeah,
No, honestly,
so-
and that's a good decision.
So yeah, so again, I'm not saying Kyler's going to go, Colt's going to be our starting quarterback, and that's not going to make a difference. I'm saying you've got to have top 5 quarterback in the league, but I think if you had got one of those guys that I think they might still be in the same position.
I also like to see what Cliff can do with other quarterbacks, because that was always the knock on him, is he's only winning because of Kyler Murray, and we've seen that kind of dispelled over the last month, which has been nice. And they're going to have to pay Kyler Murray, which is going to limit what they can do in free agency. And the benefit of Kyler on this rookie deal is you can go out and get a Hopkins and a Watt and a plethora of other guys. So
Sold.
Yeah, well, it's not the
There you
move
go.
I would make, but I can appreciate the effort.
I like it. I like the idea. I like that thought that we have seen Cliff 100% change and grow as a coach, and definitely have the ability to create game plans for any quarterback right now, considering that Colt McCoy has done what he's done in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I agree. I think that's a good choice. I really do.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Want to talk to you about traveling with Bird Gang Travel, a weekly segment that we have on this show where we let you guys know everything that the Bird Gang Travel Club has going on. They have a Chicago takeover and a Dallas takeover coming up. Obviously, Chicago first. And they've basically got 3 nights. Everything is accounted for, from transportation to private parties to your tickets to the game, hotel rooms, all in one package. So you don't have to, look up where should I stay and then find your tickets and do all the things. Like it's all packaged for you already. The Dallas one, they've got you covered for New Year's Eve, which is awesome. And but then they also are doing something now too where it's a la carte. So like if you already have your tickets, then okay, a la carte. You just want to go to one of the private parties, or you just want to go to the tailgate. You just want to stay at the hotel, whatever the case is. You can do a la carte too. But they do it right. And Johnny, you're gonna get to experience it in Chicago.
Yes, I'm anxious to see if they'll let me into these private parties. I'm excited about going.
Well, I didn't say anything about private party. I think you're allowed to hang out with the tailgate.
Oh, they're going to throw me a bone, which is nice. I want to be seen with Bird Gang Travel. It's an exclusive club that you guys can get in on. And if you see me, grab me. Let's hang out. I'll be in the Windy City, my home city, next weekend for Cardinals at Bears. It's going to be a big event, in part because we're going to be getting some players back. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. So it should be a hell of a time. Come hang out.
That's exciting. I'm excited for you get to go back. It was when I got to go back to Cleveland and cover that game. It was like kind of a check the box of a what the heck do you call it? Bucket list. Thank you, Aaron. It was like a bucket list thing that I got to check. It was a cool moment.
I've been to Soldier Field a few times, but never to watch the Cardinals play, and never as a member of the media, which will be fun. Be a kick for my parents. They're coming up Saturday. And my dad bought tickets to the games, so hang out with some family. I think a couple of my buddies who have season tickets I'll see Sunday night. So, yeah, it'll be a good time. Hopefully get a Cardinal W in the process.
All right, let's move into our final segment. Kyler Murray. Talking about Kyler Murray. He is Rule 5 draft eligible, which means we all know he was drafted in the first round by Oakland. Well, if they don't sign him to their roster, then he is up for grabs, basically. And I know Russell Wilson a few years back, I guess for more than a few years, he went through this whole thing and was signed by the Rangers, I believed, in the AAA phase of the Rule 5 draft. Ended up, which I didn't realize, he's actually had a few stints where he went to and played in spring training games.
Yeah.
But that year, he was out here in Arizona, and I don't know. Derek was talking about this on the D-back show the other day, and he has convinced me that it would be a good move for the Diamondbacks to pick him up because, I mean, shoot, even if he's out at one spring training game, could you imagine what that would do for the Diamondbacks, for Kyler Murray's brand? I mean, he's never shunned the potential of him revisiting an opportunity in baseball, and so like I feel like that would be a win-win for everybody.
I think if it happens, it will be correlated by both parties. Kyler Murray's people will reach out to the Diamondbacks and say, if you draft him in the Rule 5 draft, he will appear in X amount of games. We will work something out. It will help both parties. So I'm right there with you. I don't want to see it happen just because I want I want my quarterback focus on football 100% of the time. And I think the difference with the Russell Wilson situation is like that was never serious because Russell was not a top 10 Major League Baseball prospect. Every time in the offseason, Kyler Murray is interviewed by Dan Patrick or Colin Cowherd or whomever, he talks about wanting to play baseball and do both.
Yeah.
And the position of quarterback is so demanding. You can screw around.
He already has this phase club clan, whatever it's called.
With the
He
video
does the video
games.
game thing.
Russell Wilson is all in on football, even though he screws around at spring training once in a while. Like Kyler wants to do both. I think you would encourage him to do both. Now I think he's got a clause in his current contract. I know he does that he can't play baseball, but they're about to negotiate a new contract, and he's going to have a lot of leverage in that contract. And I'd be anxious to see if he puts in some language that like if and when like. It would be great for the Diamondbacks. Don't disagree with that at all. 100% agree with Derek and Jesse and their point making there. But from a Cardinals perspective and their prospects to win a Super Bowl, I feel like that noise. I'm over that every offseason. Like he's the NFL. He's the Cardinals property in the sense that he plays football. He's not the Cardinals property, but he plays professional football. And for a franchise that's starved for a championship. And for him to try to do both, I just think it's a little bit disrespectful.
It's his choice because he has the ability to do it. And I think it works in his favor 100%.
It does.
Frank is biased
It works in his
because
favor.
he was also taken in the MLB draft and played professional football.
But I chose football over baseball, and I wasn't the first overall pick. That could be.
Well, if you had the option to do what we just said, like here in Arizona,
Yep.
and the Diamondbacks wanted to sign you, all you had to do was kind of appear in a few spring training games here in Arizona.
I wouldn't limit myself just as if I want to do something like that. I wouldn't limit myself to be just in a spring training.
Oh,
I really wouldn't.
He doesn't want to either.
I wouldn't limit myself if they're willing
he wants to play.
If my arm,
not minor league baseball though, which
they put his ass on the major league roster
major.
for sure.
If my arm can handle that ability to go in and throw a couple of innings, and I'm able to get out there and do what I can do, then I do it. I mean, it doesn't limit me. They just know that I'm on a limited amount of throws, and so with the analytics right now of being a pitcher. You stink a couple of innings, they get you out immediately. They get you out fast. So the pitch count doesn't mean he'll be there getting beamed all the time. But he could be a good closer if he can get his arm strength to be at 90-something miles per hour.
It's the 9th pick in the draft.
So again, I would take the opportunity. I think the choice is there. I think the language just has to be in a balancing situation that meets both parties. And again, I understand what he's saying when he's talking about I want my quarterback focused, and there's a part that if a guy can do both, you let him do both until he proves and shows that I can't do both. Like you couldn't
until
say
he tears his ACL, running to second base.
Well,
and you're like, football season's over this year.
He just rolled his ankle, and I didn't know how he rolled his ankle, and now he's in a boot for the last 5 weeks, and I don't know what he did to do it. No one touched him or tackled him at all. So, right, it's a sport, but he won't get that situation. If they got him in the right situation when it comes to, like, look at Deion. Deion got on a plane. He got in a helicopter. He played football one day, and the night he went and played it.
He was a defensive back wide receiver, though. It's different. Your quarterback, he is the face of the franchise.
No,
he's the franchise.
I could be the face of both franchises. Don't limit his ability to
quarterback,
be that.
First man in, last one out, owning the playbook.
And again, that's BS.
No.
Okay. All right.
He's got to. Okay. You think Rondell Moore is there as much as Kyler Murray or DeAndre? Okay. Kyler Murray, you have to be there.
You don't have to be there. Once you know your job, do your job and go home. It makes no sense for you to be sitting here doing what production does once you do your job.
I also don't feel like he's around as much as you say.
Well, that might be true. I just feel like to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, you have to be obsessive.
No, you don't. You have to just don't F it up and throw touchdowns.
To beat the Tom Brady's and the Aaron Rodgers of the world, you got to be 100% in on football.
Kyler is
you don't have to be.
He's not that kind of guy, though, either. I mentioned the FaZe Clan thing, and I don't know all of that what that entails, but he's like technically like a professional gamer. He has other interests. He's always, we talked about it, made sure that it was known that he has an interest in playing baseball. I think Kyler is somebody who is firmly rooted in, hey, I'm not going to be limited. I can do anything I want to do. I can juggle whatever I want to juggle. Now, if there's somebody in his ear that's saying, hey, this isn't smart for your career, you really need to focus on football, etc. But I just don't think that's Kyler. I just don't think that's who he is. And he's already doing more than just football.
The only thing that would hinder him from being able to do that is the conversation that says he shouldn't be doing that because you shouldn't be.
Right.
You should be 100% focused on football. You cannot be the quarterback. Until I prove you that I'm failing at being the quarterback, then I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but what if it's not the Diamondbacks though?
Well, then that will become a conflict of interest. Well, in regards to having to travel back and forth and things like that. But he has the money.
But if it was a Cactus League team and it was just a spring training thing,
his people, if they wanted to make it happen with the Diamondbacks, they'll make it happen.
But even if it's not the Diamondbacks, if it's someplace else, it's a plane. It's running to a tarmac, getting off a tarmac, landing here on a Sunday night or whenever, whatever it works in your schedule. Coming here on a Monday, go someplace, play Sunday night, Tuesday, Monday, then come back on Tuesday.
There's no downside.
I've got an argument now. Something popped into my head.
Go ahead.
I don't think that Kyler would have enough time to focus on. Now I'm talking about more than one.
I got
Frank,
you.
to your
I'm
point,
with you.
yeah, I said, hey, show up for one spring training game, 2 spring training games, etc. Frank's saying like do more than that.
Yeah.
I don't think Kyler would have enough time to be excellent at both, and the guy doesn't like losing. And so if he's going to go out there and play baseball more than just a spring training game, I think that would be detrimental to his psyche because there's not even Michael Jordan could do it.
Mike did it Mike's like 1,000 years older than Kyler, transitioning from.
Well, we're talking about like one sport at a time.
But I'm saying he's just a pitcher. He walks to the mound. He throws the ball really hard.
I thought he was an outfielder. Is he a pitcher or an outfielder?
I thought he was an out. Hold on.
I thought first of all,
I thought he was a pitcher. I didn't think he was an outfielder.
Dion could hop on a jet and lock down somebody at corner.
I thought he was a pitcher.
And then go play outfield and watch a little bit of tape. Kyler Murray to be able to dissect an NFL defense and game plan all week and to know the cadence, and there's just not enough. It's just it doesn't. He would literally have to take a year off of football to go play.
He doesn't.
Baseball.
All he gotta do.
No.
That's just.
Yeah, and that's hard enough as it is.
It's
Maybe you would have to focus on one sport.
It's not.
But being excellent at 2 at the same time at this level.
Look.
Frank's like, I did it.
I mean, excellence is you just have to be a specialist at your task.
But you can't be a specialist in football.
You can be a specialist in football.
Not a quarterback. Come on.
You can.
Frank. Come on, Frank.
Okay. So Tom Brady has rushed for 7,000 yards.
Thrown.
Thank you. That's all he does. He throws the ball. He doesn't do anything else but throw the damn ball. That's all he does is throw the ball. I had to be good at throwing the ball. I was good in college at throwing the ball. I came to the NFL. I was good. I took a guy's job.
In between the ears, playing quarterback and playing baseball.
Frank, you know, so the preparation for a game.
Y'all are killing me. You're treating him like
left fielder, Frank.
So then that means, again, him being a left fielder, now I digress in my conversation because I don't think that.
I'm reading one line. It said that he played for the Sooners baseball team in 2017 as a left fielder. I don't know if he played other.
He's pitched before too.
He might have pitched. But
that's what I thought. If he's a pitcher,
line.
I thought he was a pitcher. So if he was a pitcher, that's how I took the conversation. Him being an outfielder, running back and forth.
So you want more wear on his arm?
All he does is throw balls. All he does is throw balls. That means his arm is capable of doing that. And you have to think like this. Don't limit yourself. Like saying, all you can do is this station here. No, you can do 5 other stations and be on point. Because while you're traveling, they're giving you information.
He's not going to have enough time to focus on both to be good enough to where it would be good enough for his psyche.
When you're definitive in saying he will not have enough time because his psyche, you're limiting him thinking that he can't. He can. He can go out. It doesn't take much
is finite, Frank. That's what I'm talking about.
It doesn't take much to run out the outfield and catch a ball. I could do that now. Me and Johnny can put a glove on and go out in the outfield and catch a ball.
Not well.
Well, is one thing. But it doesn't take much. You don't need a play for that.
It would go right over his head, and you and I both know that, Frank.
There's no play for that. There's no play for getting in the left field and running and catching ball.
Yeah, I could pick up a
way.
wiffle bat and swing it around, then you could throw me a couple
That's
passes. That doesn't mean I do both well. It's bottom line, Diamondbacks would be stupid not to draft him and try to make this a story. And because they're a franchise in disarray, they need publicity. They've got draft capital and they've got prospects that are years away. Derek and Jesse have broken all this down. So, hell yeah, they would take Kyler Murray in a heartbeat, even if it was for a couple spring training games. But we're very protective, and he's our quarterback, so stay the fuck away. Stay away.
There's your answer. Look, I can see it without a problem. I think it will work.
Get that out of here. I don't like that at all.
Right after football season.
Kyler looks good in a D-backs uniform, no?
Yeah, throwing out the first pitch, maybe.
Right after football season.
We're 9-2 trying to win a Super Bowl, guys. Come on.
What if he wins a Super Bowl? Then will you let him do what he wants?
Maybe.
I mean, now
sell your soul for a Lombardi. Yes, please. I'll do whatever he wants.
So if the Cardinals win a Super Bowl this year,
yeah,
you would have no problem with him going right into baseball.
It wouldn't be my favorite thing. I would be probably just so elated of the championship. Yeah, I'd be like, do whatever the hell you want. Especially if they won it and he was like extraordinarily good. You know.
Well, he's gonna have to be if they're gonna
right.
Want to win
That's
it,
true.
So.
And I think at that point too, if they win a Super Bowl and he's Super Bowl MVP and they go to the negotiating table, he's gonna get whatever he wants. That includes the fact that he gets to play baseball. I think his people push for it. I think there's probably a 50-50 chance it happens that he at least appears in some spring training games. I think we're a long way off though of him ever appearing in a regular season MLB game, but we'll see.
We shall see. Diamondbacks. Hit him up.
We're hoping that that's where he goes. But if he decides and somebody else offers more money to become a show pony like y'all want him in the spring so he can go someplace else.
No. It only works.
He's just a show pony because he's out there in the spring ball.
If it's here in Arizona because it benefits Arizona. And it benefits him, but it benefits Kyler, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, and both fan bases, in my opinion, if that's what the
Diamondbacks has a fan base?
Yes, Frank.
We support them here.
They've had enough.
They've won a championship.
Already.
We haven't won anything.
Good point.
Back in 1975, they did.
You were just hanging out with Gonzo. You had the gall to say that?
I said in his face. He said back to me like, Frank, you're absolutely right. I hung out with Junior Spivey too. Said the same thing. They looked me dead in the face and said, bro, after that year, they just dumped and fired us. They didn't give a shit. So what's up? Now what? Gonzo left and went someplace else. He went to the Dodgers
but he works
and
for them now.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the conversation.
You're getting in trouble.
We have a very robust fan base.
We
here.
do have a very
robust. Do not listen to this man.
Do not. I'm a little salty
because
I'm
struggling, especially on this show. So I'll give Frank a lot of grace here.
They're a little salty because I still want. I think Kyler can do both, man. The quarterback position, just a little small nugget. They try to emphasize so many things.
I thought you were talking about Kyler's.
No, I'm about to go.
He's nothing but a small little nugget.
I'm not talking about Kyler. I'm saying just to give you guys a small little
Oh my
nugget.
Goodness, what have we done?
You know what?
Do you want to share your nugget or no?
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay,
I'll leave it alone.
That's the right
I'll bring it back another time, and you guys will see that it doesn't take as much as you think it does to be what you think it takes to be in the NFL as a coach or a player.
You mean you're telling me that I could play in the NFL too, Frank?
I'm thinking that if you had the athletic ability to play in the NFL,
I feel like you've just insulted a ton of professional athletes.
As one to another, suck it.
If you had
because you know exactly what I'm talking about. That you could go out and do a player can go out and do multiple things without a problem. It doesn't take all. It doesn't take. You know, we really
the
work.
argument of that Shohei Ohtani can't even pitch and bat in the same sport is a very valid argument to make, and he's like the first to ever be successful at it. But you're trying to say that it's super easy to be an NFL quarterback and a professional baseball player at the same time.
I'm ready, Frank. I'm ready.
Babe Ruth did it, and they had no problem with it.
Oh wait. Dual sport.
Yes, I can do both too, like Tyler. Hockey.
Honestly, the Coyotes might be interested.
They need help, right?
Shoot me up. Petey, put in a good word.
All right, we need to end this. We've all had too much turkey. You still have time, though, to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You want to be a three-sport athlete here?
I could definitely play in the
Wow,
NBA.
Johnny.
Johnny's an All-American right there, buddy.
Trade me straight up for DeAndre Ayton's rights. They're trying to move off of him anyway. They're looking for a new postman.
All right, you still have time to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code PHNX and take advantage of the Turkey Day no-brainer. Bet $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game, win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. If you are a first-time customer using the PHNX code, if you are a returning customer, all customers can get a risk-free bet up to $25 on a same-game parlay if it doesn't win, so you get your money back. And if you win, then you win some money anyway. Also want to encourage you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts if you haven't already, and follow us on social media at PHNX_Cardinals. Happy Thanksgiving.